one. Hi, everybody. It is Wee Wednesday.
It is Wee Wednesday.
Okay. Today we're gonna share some more questions that we have ready, and we've thought about for a little bit. Not really put too much thought to, but we kind of just wanna discuss how we feel here. So
Yeah, so not a lot of preparation for this, so we just want to keep it like authentic, and I guess like raw, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right, so here we go. The first question that we have today is, how do friends look in marriage? Beforehand, before we were married, when we were first dating, it was a little hard for me to like separate like friendships and marriage. This was before we were like together. And the longer that we were dating, the more I understood how a relationship like worked and friendships. And you can't have a relationship without like bringing them into friendships. If you can't do that, then it's probably not a good, healthy relationship. And you should probably think of your friendships, if you're willing to hold on to those friends, or if you think your relationship is more important, you should hold on to that relationship. So that's my personal view on friendships. And the friends that come with you through marriage are the ones that you usually keep for a very long time. Yeah. So that's my point of view on friendships.
yeah, it's just interesting that you bring that up. Yeah, you had a lot of friends that didn't like me. That's for sure.
I did.
Yeah, that's when you know, right? So, but that's just kind of how it was. So, and it's not like we butted heads or anything like that. It's just not aligning with the same things, right, in terms of interest. So I think that's all it was really, though, right? So I mean, maybe some other things which maybe there should have been probably grounds for the dislike for me, but I mean, that's okay, though. That's okay. So we all mature and grow. So yeah, it's kind of hard to say because I feel like all my friendships that I had outside of like our relationship, they didn't make the cut. So, and they didn't make the cut. So, and I think that was just kind of like God's just way of just what's the word? Kind of filtering out people from my life, and then maybe me from their life. So, but yeah. So I think it's kind of hard to say. It's just friendships need to be able to grow with your relationships, and relationships should be able to grow like with your friendships. So there should be like an enmeshment. We should be able to share the same friends. But at the same time, I think there's a space, though, too, on my part, for friendships to kind of occur outside of a relationship, too. So, but, I mean, when you get to that point where, either one's not growing, it just needs to be like one or the other. So.
Yeah, I can agree with that, yeah. Usually with friendships, there should be like a give and take there. You are having a good time together, but you're also there to help each other grow. And if there's no growing happening, then there's probably not really a healthy friendship there. What the Bible says too is we sharpen each other whenever we're together, and that's the way it should be in a marriage. Yes. That we should sharpen each other and make a better character for ourselves. And the same thing should happen outside of the marriage for friendships, or just people that you might be discipling, or even just sharing your experiences with. Yeah. You should be honing them and and letting them know, there are things that should be and things that shouldn't be.
Yes. And then boundaries, right? So that's where like kind of boundaries come in.
True.
Too. So whether it's friendships, same sex or even opposite sex too. So there's boundaries for either way. So
yeah, I can agree with that. All right. So I did have on there like past friendships. So things that have like not made it into the marriage. I think we've kind of solidly answered that. The people that come along, those are the friends that are going to be your friends for a lifetime, and it's not good to hold on to memories of the past. It's good to like maybe reminisce every once in a while and enjoy those memories, but it's not good to stay there, because that's not where we live. We live in the present tense, and we don't live in the future either. So we're here, we're now. So just when you think of friendships, just always just reminisce, but then put it back to where it was, because that was then. Anything you want to add?
no.
Okay. All right. We're going to go on to next question. Question number 2 or 3. I don't know. Any advice for newlyweds? So
That's really tough though, I think, for us to answer.
we're 10 years in, so that's kind of hard to say.
I mean, in the sense though, like because we were dating for quite a while, and then we lived with each other just for a little bit before we got married. Not very long though, because like I had moved in, then I moved out.
Yeah.
And then once we were engaged, just like a month, I'd say, before we got married, I moved back in. So,
Yeah.
not that I recommend that, but just because we had a history. So,
Yeah, definitely.
but like just advice, just like allow a lot of space, I mean, that goes into any like point in your like I think in your marriage, but allow a lot of space for people to make mistakes and just like expect them, but at the same time, just working not to take offense to things, I think is a big thing. And just learning, understanding though that like when you took your vows with each other, that you both gave those vows at an altar. And so what happens at altars, a sacrifice is made. And then when you have a marriage, you're both the sacrifice. So you're sacrificing yourself. And so there's going to be a lot of things where you're just going to have to say no to you and yes to them. But it happens from both people. And I think when you do that, when you're like kind of giving yourself away, I think that's where you find fulfillment in relationship, just to be able to do something for somebody else and giving. I think we're designed to give, and what's better thing in marriage, is to give yourself to your other person. So
Completely agree. And then once you start giving yourself away, you just enjoy that giving process, and it makes the other person happy, which in turn also makes you happy.
Yeah.
And then you happily give away, and that should be the way that we are, is just a cheerful giver, ready to serve.
Yeah, so how does like Mike and Julie put it, to outserve the other?
Yeah. We'll be right back. Hold on one second. Okay. So, I think that one of the things that we can really attest to is that we're not afraid to like do things for the other person, for one thing, but we're also not afraid to tell each other what's wrong, what's going on with them, their personal feelings, their things that they don't like about what we're doing, and whether or not that we should correct that. And we also have like if you are doing something that offends, or like, I don't want to say offends, but like bothers the other person or whatever, you have a case ready. You know what I mean? Not saying that you should argue for your side of selfishness, but if you're doing something, you're trying to do it for both of you, is what I'm trying to say. And be ready to defend that if you're going to be doing it for both of you. If you're not doing it for both of you, then that's a selfish problem, and that's something that you really need to think about.
Yeah.
But once you're married, it's no longer you. It's both
we.
of you. It's we. Yeah. Yeah. It's we. Exactly. And I think that's kind of sums it up, huh?
Yeah.
Any couple activities. So as of right now, because we have 2 kids, we have not had a lot of time to really establish activities. The 2 activities, maybe a few activities that we do like is watching movies, maybe watching some YouTube or reading, sharing the word, going to church. Before we were married, we would like to go on hikes.
Yeah.
And we like to eat and share those experiences. So I'm hoping that we can add to that list of activities, but is there any activities that you can remember
That we used to do?
that we used to do or that we do now? Or?
Not really. We've been talking about it, that it just being more intentional about like setting aside time for just us. Without children, and so I think that's really important to be able to do that, so we can just like reconnect and just like have that freedom, you know.
As they said, and like a lot of either classes or teachings once you like are married, that's not the end of the race. You don't lose that edge that you have.
Yeah, you keep pursuing each other.
Keep pursuing. You keep going on dates. You keep treating the other person like they should be treated, you know?
Always going back to the basics, as they said, you know.
Yeah.
Just doing the things that you did before you were married. So like dating. So like dating, you'll be dating each other, you know, until the rest of your life.
Yep.
You should be always just pursuing to know your partner, because they should be growing, they should be changing, and you should be interested in that.
Exactly.
So, and just, it's a two-sided thing, but I just like both individuals have their own personal part in doing so. And so, so just, what's the word, like contend? Is that the word? Like contend for each other? So.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And if other people are like seeing you and they're like, oh, I think they are attractive or whatever, that's a good thing, because that means that you're still showing off that you are like, you still have your edge, but you're only giving it to one person.
Exactly.
And you're not supposed to break away for anybody else. Exactly. You're only supposed to give it to the other person. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. Finally, we have plans for couples dating night. So this is I know it's a little vague, but I was essentially alluding to, if we have friends that are married, are we ever going to go together with them to hang out and do things? What are some activities that we could do as couples, and just to hang out and have a good time? So I think pool would be a good one. Going out to movie theaters. I think Bible study, like that's something that I encourage everybody to do. And if there's couples, I do encourage them to come to Bible study, because it's really, it furthers your spirit, of course, but there's a lot of talking that happens that goes on there too. And then there can also be like a game night, or something, and eating, of course. Eating is
cooking
always
together.
Cooking, yeah, that would be really fun to do. But But yeah, thoughts.
That was my thought.
That's through thoughts. All right.
Cool.
She shared her thought.
I thought, yeah.
All right. So yeah, that was. I kind of like this conversation. It was a really not kind of. I really enjoyed this conversation. It was very fun.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. All right. All right. I love you.
I love you too.
So, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing, and comment your questions down below if you do have any questions. I'm sure that we would be more than willing to answer those questions or to help out in any way that we can. And then we'll be back again on Wednesday for another discussion. So yeah. All right.
Hope to see you there.
There you go. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.